Hello, hello, and happy Friday. Who doesn't love a Friday, right? Excuse me. My name is Melissa Kerman, and my business is Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. And one of the hats I wear is to be a part of the Makers MOJO Creative Escape design team and event team. So this is a brand new Facebook page, well, pretty brand new, a couple months old. And we created this page for a couple of reasons, and I'm going to talk about that today. I'm also going to give you some updates about the summer Makers MOJO Creative Escape event. And I have a project presentation for you. Let's see what else. And I also have some sneak peeks that I want to share from past events. So I've got a bunch that I want to cover today. Hi, I see people joining in. Wonderful. Hi, Jess. I know I saw another name flash by and I can't remember what it was. Oh my goodness, trying to concentrate on more than one thing. Anyway, so hi Patricia, good to see you. I think I saw your name come up before. Hi Dean, yay. So glad to see people joining in. I'm not usually live on a Friday at 1 p.m., but here I am, and it's fun to be here on a Friday. 2 Facebook Lives in 1 week, because I did one on my my personal business page. That sounds like contradiction. Just yesterday evening, my usual Thursday evening Facebook Live. Hi Nell, good to see you. So glad to see people joining in, especially those of you who joined last night too. So much fun. All right, so I've got a lot to cover today. Before I launch in, if you like what I have to say, hi Amy. Please share this video with anybody and everybody, whether you're watching live or on the replay, whether you're watching here on Facebook or you're going to watch on YouTube later. Please, please, please share. In some ways, I feel like the Makers MOJO Creative Escape events are the best kept secret, and it shouldn't be a secret. We should yell it to the world because these events are amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the Makers MOJO Creative Escape page and the events. So this page, this is my really, I guess, well, not necessarily my first live video here, but my first formal live video here. And this page is really intended to be sort of a hub for us to share information about upcoming events, for us to share projects, for us to have conversations with those of you that either have or have not participated in Makers MOJO Creative Escape events in the past. So just really an information, a place to share information and develop community among those of us that attend and may want to attend the Makers MOJO Creative Escape events. So I'm going to have some updates about the July event and some changes, but let's talk a little bit about just what the event is for those of you that may not know. Hi, Wendy. Good to see you here. Oh, I'm so glad you're looking forward to Makers MOJO, the one in July. Love to hear that. So the Makers MOJO Creative Escape events are, we do them 4 times a year, quarterly. So January, April, July, and October. And we do have a date already scheduled for October. And these events are chock full with amazing content by 5 demonstrator presenters. So it includes myself, Melissa Kerman, Wendy Lee, Audra Monk, Anne-Marie Heil, and Joe Blackman. All very talented, skilled demonstrators and great teachers. We do 2 presentations each throughout the course of a day, or sometimes we span over 2 days. More on that in just a second. Anyway, the purpose of each presentation is not just to show you one thing, and not just to, not even to sell you anything, because that's not the goal of our presentations. Our presentations are really geared towards helping you be creative, not just with what we're showing, but with the things you have at home. So for any given presentation, we'll show one main project and then multiple variations with different products, or using the same technique in different ways, so that you leave every single presentation, we hope, with all kinds of inspiration for your own creativity. Now, the projects range from simple to more complex. We kind of err on the side of a little bit more complex, more the avid crafter style crafter. Somebody who wants something a little bit more challenging, we're there for you. But we also do some simple things as well. The 5 of us, I think, all really appreciate simple projects, but you know, it runs the gamut. We have a lot of experience. You know, we all have a lot of experience with techniques and fun folds and 3D projects. We each kind of have our specialty area, if you will. Anyway, so what else can I tell you? The event includes a PDF for each presentation and a video that you can watch live or the replay, whichever you prefer. In the event page, we do prizes, and we have a prize for contributing your own ideas to the albums in the private event. So we do create a private Facebook page or a group just for each event. Hi, Wendy. So good to see you here. One of our fellow presenters has joined us. Hi, Wendy. You guys probably all know Wendy. All right. So let's see, what else can I tell you? So it's really just an amazing event. Now, you could say, well, I can go on YouTube and find all kinds of project ideas, and that is so true. But if you attend one of our events, what you'll get is a nice, neat package, all wrapped up with a bow of presentations, PDFs, videos, and it's really top-notch, top-quality projects, and presentations. Plus, of course, prizes and giveaways, which are not the main event, but they are a very fun added aspect of the event. All right, so I'm just going to talk about it. I was supposed to say 3 of my favorite things, but I'm sure I said more than that. Amazing projects, amazing presentations, and everything wrapped up with a tight little bow at the end for you to use at your leisure, either live or later after the fact. All right, so let's launch right into a little bit about the summer event. Our summer event is scheduled for July 29th and 30th. Now, usually our events have been one day. So we've done all 10 or more of our presentations in the course of a Saturday from morning until night. It's a long day. We've gotten that feedback from people. It's a long day for us, right? We're ready to collapse at the end of the day because we're all pretty engaged most of the day, if not all of it. So we have decided to do a few of our presentations on the Friday before. So on July 29th, we will do our welcome event at noon. And yes, I am telling you a little bit about the schedule. Usually we don't announce the schedule till much later. So that will be at noon, and it will be live. Okay, so we did it recorded the last few times, but there's just so much fun and excitement of doing it live. So we are going to be coming on live, hopefully, barring no technical difficulties, which is why we did it recorded a few times. But we are going to go live July 29th at 12 noon Eastern time. And that we will have the welcome event, and then starting at 2, at one presentation at 2 and another one at 3 p.m. And then the rest of the presentations will be on Saturday the 30th. So we'll make Saturday a little bit more manageable. And we'll span most of the day, but we won't go into the evening, which will be especially better for those folks over in Europe. One of our presenters, of course, is Jo Blackman. She lives in the UK, and she's a night owl, but that doesn't mean all of her customers and anybody from the UK or Europe or anywhere else in the world is up all night long. So I think it would be better for lots of people. All right, what else? We are encouraging you to register early. Now, lots of you have already registered early because we did an early bird special way back after the last event. But we still want you to register early, and I'm going to say by July 14th. You can register all the way up to July 29th, 30th, and even after. We're going to let you register after as well. Obviously, you won't see the lives if you register after the lives have happened, but you'll still have all the great content and be able to participate in the Facebook group, etc. But if you register by the 14th, you have the opportunity to win many more prizes if you get in early, because we're going to do it a little bit different now. We're going to have play along posts that start on, I think we scheduled starting the 15th of July, and we'll have each play along post last about 3 days, 2-3 days, something like that. And it will be live for you to comment. If you comment, you'll get an entry into each drawing for each play along post. So sign up soon and early and make sure you are registered and in the Facebook group by the 15th, the latest, right? Maybe the 16th if you want to push it. But if you want an opportunity to get all the prizes, we want you to register super early. So let's see, the referral bonus. We're doing a referral bonus also this time. So if you've signed up before, or even if you've signed up now and you've never even attended the event, but it sounds really exciting, you can refer somebody as long as they include your name on the registration form. When you register with whichever demonstrator presenter you register with, you will go into, the person who referred, into a drawing, and we will give away one free Makers Mojo Creative Escape event for the next event, which will be in October, as I mentioned. So we already have some people who have referred people. So yay, thank you to all those of you. I can't remember names off the top of my head. Well, Jennifer Ledford, you are one of them. And I think there was somebody else, I'm trying to remember who, Heather, there's a Heather who referred somebody, at least for me. So anyway, so yay, thank you so much for referring people and taking our event from being secret to more people knowing about it. All right, so you can sign up now for the next Makers Mojo Creative Escape event. In this page, the Makers Mojo Creative Escapes Facebook page, there's a post pinned at the top of the page. It tells you a little bit about each of us as presenters, the 5 different presenters, and there are links to each of our registration forms. We do accept our own separate registrations. So register with the person you have registered with in the past, or with your presenter, or it could be your upline, because team members are eligible as well. But make sure you register with the correct person. We appreciate that very much. And do register. Bottom line, register. All right, register, sign up, be a part of this amazing event and community. Okay, enough talking. Let's get to the project demonstration. So, excuse me. I am going to share what I like to call card salad. Some of you who know me well know that I like to create in a different way from others. Sometimes I'll do a one-off, like I'll figure out a design, I make one, I don't have any leftover pieces and parts, or very few anyway, but more often than not, I like to play. I create a bunch of different pieces, experiment with different things, especially when it comes to techniques, and I end up with all these little nibbles and bits and pieces, card salad I like to call them, that become a great resource for future projects. So I'm going to be using one of my card salad packets from a past event. It will actually be from the April event. And then I'm going to show you sneak peeks at the end. So stay till the end to see my sneak peeks of another past project that has not been seen but by the people who attended that event. So not shared anywhere else. So without further ado, I'm going to face the camera down and show you what I got. Okay, so if you got my email message yesterday, if you're one of my customers or team members, you would have seen a photograph of this card salad bunch of things. You're having some salad right now, but you're not. Yay, Anne-Marie's here. All right, so the theme that I did in April, this one presentation, was masking, using masks, and heat embossing. In multiple colors. And what you see here is my leftover card salad pieces from that creative process, or at least some of them. Now, Stampin' Up! Is now selling masking paper. So it comes like this. It's a pack of 12 sheets. Here's an example sheet. And so I used a masking paper like this for creating my project. So here's all my little bits and pieces and parts. I'm going to finish 2 cards today. And I'm hoping that you will help me with my design, because I haven't 100% decided on all the parts, how I'm going to do this. So now this is the mask that I used to create this piece you see here. This was a reject piece, okay? I didn't love it. But as I played with it a little bit and I looked at it for my card salad, I thought, oh, I could do something with that. Now, I also want to point out that these are the pieces that came out of this piece right here. It is a piece of the masking paper that was placed onto a piece of cardstock, okay? Because the masking paper will cut much better if you have it on a piece of cardstock. So that's tip number 1 of the many I'll probably share today. Now, what came out were these little negative space pieces, or positive space pieces, depending on how you want to think about it. And these each have a masking piece on top. So I could use these for another project. So that's, part of my card salad baggy potential use for some other time. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details of how I created this, because I have to have some mystery, right? But the process that I used, just quickie, masking adding some ink, heat embossing, and as you can see, I had multiple colors of ink, some multiple colors in a given panel, and it's heat embossed in clear, okay? So leaving a little bit mystery there. And then another piece that I created in my creative play was this one right here. So this is going to be the basis for my second card. Now this one sort of was a reject, right? Because I kind of made a mess up there in the corner and I've got some messy stuff in here, but I have a solution to both of those problems. As you can see, I've got multiple colors in there. And again, it's heat embossed in clear. I love this one. So the main products that I'm using today, just so you know, I'm using the Dragonfly Garden, and I use the Dragonfly Punch on my actual card. I'm going to show you the actual projects that I showed in a bit. And then I'm also using Sending Smiles, the dies, and the stamp set. And as you can see, I've got some of the die cut pieces in here from Sending Smiles, and these images are from the Sending Smiles set. All right. So I have decided on a few pieces that I'm going to use for this. I kind of did some of my planning, and I'm going to use these little dragonflies, and literally I didn't prepare any of these. These were all leftover little bits and pieces, and the rest of these I may or may not use. I may consider using one of these other sentiments. As you can see, I created lots of little fun sentiment pieces. We'll just keep those handy. So if you have, as I'm doing this, if you have like ideas, you go, oh, Melissa, you should really be using the Bermuda Bay sentiment on this, you know, because I'll show you a couple things. Oh, I'm so glad you found me, Elizabeth. Chime in, leave a comment. I love to hear what other people's design sense is and ideas and suggestions. It's just a very fun part of creating and doing events live. So for this first card, I did die cut a few. I did prepare a couple of other pieces. So I die cut one of the sending dies that is going to go in behind that one. So I needed that one extra piece. And then I cut a card base in Bermuda Bay and a black layer right there. So not too much, right? So this is basically what I'm going to use to create the card that I have to show you now. Okay, let's just scoot that a little bit to the side. Excuse me. So let's start by putting a little bit of adhesive on the back side of my sending die. And I'm going to grab my silicone craft sheet because I love to use this, especially when I'm bringing out my glue, because it keeps my work surface clean. So I'm using my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm just going to fairly quickly, draw on some glue onto the back of this. Now I could have used an adhesive sheet, but I don't know, for whatever reason, whenever I die cut pieces, I'm just experimenting and I don't want to cut everything with adhesive sheets, and this was in my card salad, so just use it as is. So as you can see, just quickly drawing it on there. I'm not going to get it on my hands. I don't like sticky fingers like my friend Wendy Lee. So I'm doing this first on purpose because I'm going to set it aside to dry a little bit. If I go ahead and use it right now, I have to pick it up and I'm going to get sticky fingers. And if I use it right now, in the spots where the glue is kind of thick, it's going to ooze out and make a mess of my black background piece. So I'm going to set it aside. Probably just needs like 5 minutes. So let's start with these pieces here. Excuse me. Now I've got adhesive on the back of this piece already. And as you can see, I've just stamped the images, and I've got one full ink of the butterflies and one stamped off up there. And I did stamp on the back. I often stamp on the back to just experiment with different layouts of my images. I guess I liked that one better. They don't look very different to me now, but you know. So now I'm just going to get it on here on my black piece. I love a thin black layer. Okay, now I've got my mini glue dots, if your fingers aren't sticky, are you really crafting? Absolutely, Anne-Marie. My goal is to not have sticky fingers ever, if at all possible. Wendy's going, yes, me too. So one of the things you'll find, okay, I'm going to just use my paper piercing tool here to pick up a glue dot and put it onto my dragonfly. And I'm rolling it up, rolling it in half so that I can put it on the spine and let the wings fly. Okay, there we go. Oh, inky, yes, you definitely have to have inky fingers. That I'm all good with. You know, as long as I wash my hands periodically so I don't get ink in places where it doesn't belong. I'm good with inky fingers. Inky, not stinky, no, sticky. I know, I'm silly. All right, excuse me. So now, my plan is to have my sentiment near the bottom, and I'm just kind of getting my placement here. And I want my dragonflies in various spots around my thing. I'm just not going to place, I'm just going to place it down, kind of get a sense for where I want it. And let's grab my Bermuda Bay and put it down at the bottom. I wanted the Granny Apple Green at the top because it'll sort of bounce the Granny Apple Green towards the bottom. At least that's my method to my madness. And then I've got my Coastal Cabana dragonfly. Just looking at comments here. Over here on the left. And I kind of want them all turned a slightly different way, you know, because dragonflies, you know, it's not like a flock. They're not going to be flying in the same direction. They're likely to be flying all in different directions, right? Am I right? I think I'm right. As I like to say, I like to be right. Who doesn't like to be right, right? Okay, I'm just using this part to press down my dragonflies in the center. And then I can make the wings come up a little bit too, if I want. So you know what I'm going to need for those dragonflies? This little wink of Stella. Who doesn't need wink of Stella? On like everything. I'm going to grab it so I don't forget. All right, so let's bring back in my Granny Apple Green sending. And as you can see, it's not very white anymore, which means that it's probably dry enough. That's a little bit white, but you can see it's not as white as it was when it started, which means that it's probably just right and ready. Now, I can go like, who's going to scream when I do this? Wendy's going to scream. Okay. Wendy's well known for her dislike for sticky fingers. Okay, so now I can touch this. It's going to stick to my fingers, but none of the glue is going to come off. And that's the thing that I like. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to want to hold on to my finger. That's the one tricky thing. I probably needed another few minutes because I can feel it on my fingers. Dang, I'm going to get sticky fingers today. Just a little bit, though. Okay, so now I'm just getting it into position on here. I like to use my paper piercing tool to guide this delicate little piece. So now one thing I didn't mention earlier, I always think of things later, is that as a team, as a design team for Makers Mojo, we are each planning to go live here in the Makers Mojo Creative Escapes page. I know that's such a mouthful, right? See, there you go. Not too bad, right? And actually, I didn't get sticky fingers. So really, 5 minutes, and that's all it took. Your eye twitching. Yeah. No, anyway, it works for me. And yes, okay, so Wendy said she would do an adhesive sheet before she would do maybe what I just did. I don't know. Now, one of the things about this die, this top layer die, is that it has a little spot for the top of the eye, you know, the dot. But unless you're really paying attention, it's very easy to lose that. So in fact, for the playing with adhesives class I did, we used this die cut. Well, I harvested, shall we say, the tiny little dot, and I put it on to each person's black base. You're welcome. Anybody who's getting a kit, I know you'll be happy about that, or I think you will. All right, I got to grab one thing. I'll be right back. Since I don't have that little dot at the top, I'm going to need some kind of embellishment for my dot, right? So I'm just going to bring in a few things so I have them handy for when I'm ready. Okay, so now this piece, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. And, oh, those are small ones. Definitely need some big ones for this. An adhesive sheet would even be better. So as I was saying just a minute ago, each of us of the design team, we're going to go live here in the page with some kind of fun project presentation over the coming weeks as we approach the summer event. So this is essentially, I don't know, bonus materials, if you will. Now, we're each going to approach our projects a little bit different, but in some way or other, it's going to relate to something Maker's Mojo-y that we've done in the past. I'm keeping that broad because I don't know how other people are going to approach it. But for me, I love this card salad idea because then I get to use, you know, some pieces that I otherwise rejected to create something fun. And I get to use some of the pieces that are otherwise just going to sit in a bag or get thrown away. I can't stand to throw away. So there we go. Almost there. Okay, now I've already put my little mini black dimensionals on the back side. So let's actually get our placement before I take those off. So I really want this to kind of straddle that line at the bottom, kind of acts as a bit of a base. And then what I had in mind for this, okay, this is where your opinion comes in. Where'd it go? I've got this little sentiment piece here. Notice it's got two colors in it. Yours is going to feature lots of liquid glue. Okay, liquid glue is one of our favorite things to make fun of, isn't it? But we all love it too. So for this image, I actually used two ink pads, used my, pretty sure it was Bermuda Bay on the bottom, and then I think with a sponge dauber, if I'm remembering right, touched the top part of the stamp with Granny Apple Green. So I got a two-tone look, which is fun. I did something similar on some of these other ones. Let's see if this one is one. Yeah, so that one was heat embossed in white. I did the same thing with Blend's alcohol markers. There's a little green at the top and blue on the bottom. So many fun things. And of course, I shared all of that in the presentation in the event. All those details. Okay, so this is what I had in mind. Let's look at a few options. There's one. The white looks kind of like it gets lost in there. I don't know. What do you guys think? And then, so white is one. I just like the multicolored sentiment. You love the two-tone look, Anne Marie? Do you like it on the whole card is the question. So that's one option. And then let's bring it up to the camera. You guys can see a little better. Okay, number two might be green. It's a lot of green, you know? I know I'm just kind of laying it on there loosely. Another might be this one. So this is what I do when I design. That's why I end up with all these sentiments, right? Is I'm like, okay, what looks the best? What do I like the best? That's how I end up with lots of card salad. Am I seeing any voting? Hi, Joe. I'm so glad to see Joe's joining us. Another one of our demonstrator presenters, Maker's Mojo presenters. You guys are awesome. So glad you've joined me today. Okay, then there's also plain green. I'm waiting for comments. Otherwise, I'm going to have to decide all by myself. Green, plain green. You would choose Bermuda Bay, Wendy? Yeah, it's somehow the white just gets a little lost. I really wanted to use this one because it's so pretty. The other thing I thought of was, okay, I got this little scrap. Again, this was in my card salad. And I did this with some of my sentiment pieces. It's just put a tiny little strip of black in back there. Kind of offset it a little bit, but I don't know if that does too much for it. So you can see I did that on this one with my little tiny strip of black. It's a nice little element, but okay, should we go with what Wendy says? Because Wendy's amazing. So there you go. So this is actually one of the die cuts in the sending dies. I think those are called sending dies. Let's see. What does the black with white embossed sentiment look like? Who asked that? Black. Oh, you're talking about this one? Is this the one you're talking about? Okay, let's look at it. Oh, you finished your tea. How lovely. So I thought about this one. But to me, it was too much black. And it just too much. That's how it struck me. Whereas this one, and the images are so delicate in there, that it just felt like too much black to me. Like if I wanted to fussy cut that out, I could see it in that corner, but I kind of rejected that one. So any more comments? Comments, suggestions? I'm killing time here. Well, if I use this one, I'm probably going to snip off the ends. So let's try that. And one more try at seeing how this one looks. And I like that sort of angled end. Let's see what that looks like. Comments. Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to go with the Bermuda Bay. It could go either way, right? There's no perfect right answer. So let's do this. We're going to take a glue dot and just put it on the end of my die cut piece. The black with the embossment. Okay, that's what I was just, or this one. Yeah, that's possible too. It's very black at the bottom. That or that. Oh, I could go with that too. Oh, dang it. This is why it takes me so long to design, guys, because I toil and I torture. I do actually like that. So that's Bermuda Bay with the black. I don't know if you're, I see Elizabeth saying, yes, Bermuda Bay. Dang. Stamping is a choose your own adventure. No doubt about that. Yeah, we're just going to go with Bermuda Bay. Okay, so I'm going to I've got a glue dot right there on the end. And I'm just going to attach it to the bottom of my little G. And then I'm going to need a couple of dimensionals on the back side of that as well. Let's grab my little baby black dimensionals. I love to use my paper piercing tool to pick up dimensionals. I'm sorry. Yeah, dimensionals. There we go. Makes it so easy. It's also great for removing the backings. So let's do that. Super quick. We know they're off because it's black in behind. And then I've got my little baby garbage pail over here, also known as an old embellishment container. All right. Ooh. Okay. Now let's just stick this baby on here. I think I might have to do it like that. Don't want to hide that flower. Nope. There we go. That's what it's going to be. Done. Okay. Little wink of Stella on my dragonflies. Being very quick about this. One over here. Oh, I love my wink of Stella. I love my wink of Stella as much as I dislike sticky fingers. What does that tell you? All right, last but not least, I need an itty bitty embellishment for think I'm going to use one of these. I'm going to christen this container of 2022-24 in color matte decorative dots. And I'm going to use one of the small ones. That'll be perfect. Yeah, I think that works. Could have also used a pearl. Oh, I want a darker one. Forgot that there were darker ones. Dang, I just pulled off the adhesive on that. Oh well. There we go. Oh yes, that's much better. Looks much better. Very good. All right, done with that card. Now I've got one other card to make. This one I kind of thought out what I wanted to do a little bit, even more, and it's simpler. So what we're going to do is we got this piece right here. Now for this one, to create my mask, I didn't use the same die as here. In fact, I didn't show you the die that I used. Hold on. I have been using these a ton. So this is how I created the mask for that. Super easy. I love these little windows. Just been having so much fun with those pieces. All right, so for this one, instead of creating a mask with a die, I cut it just using my cutter. So I took a piece of cardstock and put an adhesive sheet on it. And I had one over here. So just like that, cardstock, adhesive sheet. And then I put it in my cutter and I just cut out a rectangle in the center. And then I masked. Now I also did this with a die, with one of my rectangle stitch dies. You can see that. This is the one that I used on here. And what you'll see on here, and it's part of why I rejected it, was it had these little stitch marks, right? The ink went through the stitch marks, and I was a little heavy-handed with the ink on the edges. You can also see stitch marks at the top. So I found a solution that I'm happy with for how to use this baby. So I've got black card base, again, just bringing in a few extra pieces, a piece of Bermuda Bay, which I'm going to go ahead and just attach. It's got adhesive on the back to my card base. And I will put insides in these cards as well. However, I'm not doing any stamping, as you can see on these, so I don't have any stamps out, so I'll be adding that later. And then I'm going to go ahead and just take this. This has adhesive on the back also. Again, stamped on the back. This one didn't quite cut the mustard, so I rejected the back side, just like with the other one. And I got a fairly thin black edge on this. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back side of this. And where's my scissors? Oh, there it is. Okay, we're going to do like the quick and dirty method here. Get a strip of dimensional on there. I love using the edges of these. Do it right there in the middle. There. Am I making you nervous with my scissors? The paper snips will make you bleed, I promise. They're kind of dangerous. You got to be very careful. Okay. Oh, you like that, the picture of this dies? I know. It took me the longest time to start playing with them, and once I did, I can't stop. I just keep creating things with them. And the other thing I love about them, especially the circles, is that I get all these sort of free die-cut circles in the process that I can use on other projects. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now here's my solution to my mess up here and my kind of mess at the bottom there. I got sort of mess down there. So I've got a couple of tools that if you don't have them, you should have them. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell them, but we used to sell these. It's an adhesive eraser. I can't talk. Okay, so if that's glue, it's going to come off there. If it's not glue, which it's hard to tell, then this is going to be the tool I use. Who else has one of these sand erasers? Basically just shaves off a little bit of cardstock off of the surface. Stampin' Up! Should sell these. They're just the best things ever. So I'm just gonna do a little cleaning up with this, and it really does remove little bits of ink and things you don't want that ended up on the surface. Now that's a little too much to deal with this, so I've got a different solution for that. So I am just going to use that sentiment right there, and let's see if we want it on dimensionals. You love your sand eraser, Anne-Marie? Yes, it's so good. I think it just needs to be down flat. Now, I just realized, and I do this, man. Just figures I was going to do that on this one. I had a plan for this before I attached it, and I forgot my plan. I hate when I do that. Okay, it's okay. It's okay, Melissa. You'll survive. Okay, so just a little bit of glue on the back of this one. Let's see, don't want to go off the edge there. See if I can do what I was planning on doing with it being attached. So there we go. Now for me, this one with all the black really works fine with this one, this design, because these are such heavy black images. I felt like it kind of balances. Whereas on the other one, with these, the images are so delicate. It just felt like too much to me. But this sentiment, and somebody can tell me where it's from because I can't remember what stamp set it's from. And without going and looking at all of my stamp sets, you know, which I didn't get a chance to before going live today, I just don't remember. So here's what I had in mind. This was going to get wrapped around the bottom. Oh, I might be able to do it anyway. Let's see if I can do it with it already attached. Either that or I can do it around the body of the card, but I really like it better around, yeah. I did it so that it would be wrapped around the back, not, I cut it already. Dang. I don't want to do that. Okay, I could just like rip this thing away. I could just be really, really aggressive here. It's just paper after all, right? I'm just going to pull it up enough, and then I'll put some more glue down to hold it together. What happens behind the scenes? Okay, I'm almost there. Because I want to do it the way I want to do it, damn it. All right, so let's grab a glue dot. And I'm going to attach this around the back side. So much easier if I'd done it without before I attached it, right? I think I did this on last week's live too. I mean, last night's live too. I forgot to attach something, and I got to go back and get creative. What the heck? That's what I want. But that's what it's all about, right? Getting creative. Don't sweat the small stuff either. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to grab an easier solution to attach this. Where might it be? This is the old tear and tape. It's not terrible. It's terrible because it's not terrible. Where's the end? Dang. My new tear and tape is across the room, so I can't use that one. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and tack this down on the back side, right there. A must for oopsies. Yes, I agree, Joe. Okay, so that's what I had in mind for my black baker's twine along the bottom. And I love this baker's twine because well, it comes in a variety pack with a whole bunch of other colors. So there it is, the essentials they call it. Every neutral shade you could possibly want. And then of course I got to tack this down on the strip of dimensionals that I Let's see. Whoa, darn. Extra ribbon, extra twine in there. It's okay. Almost there. So I've used a good number of my bits and bobs, right? Did I say that right, Joe? I was going to say that when we do our welcome event, we have so much fun. We do it in a way just to kind of tell you what to expect for the event and to get to know us, and we get silly, I'll just say. I think at the last one we had more fun than you guys had watching, but we love Joe's little English, what should we call them? Features, I don't know what you call it, but anyway, bits and bobs. I think that was one of the things that came up when we talked, was we loved bits and bobs. I did it right, says Joe. So there are my 2 card salad projects. So let's get on to showing you what the actual projects were that I shared at the event to give you an idea. And then I've got another set from a previous event. So these, this is the 4 projects that I showed. So those are just from my card salad today, leftover bits and bobs. This was the final actually finished project that I made at the event. And it was the primary project, English idioms. There you go. That's perfect, Shelley. So similar, but you can see the line is nice and clean. And same design I've stamped on the back, but I did different thing with the sentiment. And of course it's, you know, there you go. 2 different versions, right? And then I did one in a different color scheme. So this background is also created with masks and with the ink and heat embossing. That's the background colors and the red and purple in behind the sending, and then very happy stamping. So another variation. This one was even simpler. This one in the background was a little bit more messy, just like, you know, I had a messy version before, but it was still within acceptable in my opinion. So, and then the last one was this one, which of course was when I was playing with this design, and then this was the leftover piece as another alternative. And again, that was, I did my special heat embossing and coloring that. So you can see that this presentation, these 4 pretty different projects, right? But different takes and ways of doing the technique. So that's an example of different ways to use the technique and create different projects with different stamps and stamp sets. Okay, so I got one other thing to show you, and that is a project from the January event, and it uses some products that are retiring. So I wanted to show you those, especially because, you know, you just have to say goodbye. And look, I don't have very many card salad pieces left from that baggie, so I'm kind of happy. So this is the set that my next project was created with. Oh, those aren't the right dies. Those are the seized dies. Where are those dies? They're around here somewhere. There's dies that go with this, and this is retiring with the January to June mini catalog that retires June 30th. So you want to get this if you like this soon. So this was also a technique-based presentation, and not every stamp set's going to lend itself to this technique. But I did it with this Rainbows of Happiness. As you can see, I showed people how to reshape the rainbow pieces to make it a little bit different. And then we used, well, I'm not going to tell you. Well, you can tell, it's water, right? But very fun, right? So that was take 1 of that technique. And this was actually my original card with the technique. That's with, what is it, Forever Fern. And then I did another variation with this set, which, what is it called? Wildflower Path. Now these 2, the stamps used on these are not retiring, Wildflower Path and Forever Fern. But again, this just gives you a nice idea of how in any given presentation you can see a range of different projects where you can use the stamps that you might have at home with that technique or with that layout. And in case you didn't notice, these are all the same layout, just oriented differently, with different colors of cardstock. You see that's got the different green. So anyway, I'm like a super fan of our events. So like, it's not obvious. Alrighty. I'm going to turn the camera around, do a quick little recap, and we will let you go for the day. I know wildflowers, go to the mountains and be where there are wildflowers, preferably in the Rocky Mountains, my favorite place. Alrighty guys, I hope you card salad presentation and hope you're looking forward to seeing the project presentations by my fellow team members, design team members over the coming weeks. Do remember to register early for the July Makers Mojo Creative Escape. You'll find, again, the links to each of our registration links in the pinned post in this Makers Mojo Creative Escapes Facebook page. And share the page. Invite people to come be with us. We're trying to build the audience on this page. And of course, we're doing free content and presentations in this page. And then of course, if people like what they see by all of what we do, then hopefully you'll join us for the Creative Escape events. So yeah, register by July 14th if you can. If you can't, that's okay too. Thank you somebody for hearts. I love it when people give me hearts. I want more hearts. Alrighty, I think that wraps it up for me for today. If you follow me on my business page, Melissa's Crafting Treehouse business page, I'm actually taking a little break from Facebook Lives. I got a trip planned, wedding. So I will next be live in my group on July 14th, my page, I should say, for Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. But I will see you here in the group and here and abouts online. And I hope you're having a wonderful summer so far. And happy crafting. See you soon. Bye. Oh, and let us know if you have questions. Post them here in the group. We'll be happy to answer them.